There are archaeological discoveries that do not just change history, but have the potential to shatter our entire perception of it. Lifeless artifacts, covered in the dust of millennia, hold within them questions that baffle even the scientific community. They challenge every definition of progress, compelling archaeologists to pause, look deep into the past, and ask themselves, do we truly understand our own history? From ancient swords forged thousands of years ago that still gleam as if new, to intricate mechanical devices from an era before humanity even knew of gears. From stone tablets bearing strange, undeciphered scripts, to objects that seem to surpass the technological capabilities of the civilizations that created them. All of them ignite humanity's greatest question: is history hiding something? Perhaps ancient civilizations possessed knowledge far beyond our imagination. They may have understood astronomy, physics, and mechanics at a level that modern science is only just beginning to reach. Or perhaps the origin of these artifacts does not belong to Earth, but comes from somewhere far more distant, more ancient, and much more incredible. Each artifact is a lost piece in the vast puzzle of human history. And each time one is discovered, it shakes the very foundations of what we thought was truth. They force us to ask, have the first chapters of the human story been rewritten or even erased long ago? From royal tombs buried beneath the hot sand, cities that have slept under the ocean, to objects trapped in rock strata millions of years old, all are whispering of a different history. An era that modern humanity is not yet brave enough to face. And today, mystery will guide you through the door into that past. We will explore the 20 most mysterious archaeological discoveries ever found. Artifacts that have made science question itself, that have blurred the lines of history, and that have fueled humanity's unceasing quest for the truth. Are you ready to step through that door? 1. The Sabu Disc. In the world of archaeology, many discoveries are easy to understand. Beautiful pottery, gold jewelry, or a clear royal tomb. But sometimes, archaeologists find something so strange and out of place that it feels as if the past itself is taunting us. This is the case with the Sabu Disc, an object excavated in the arid Egyptian desert, yet bearing the appearance of a device from an industrial age, which has puzzled experts since its discovery. The story begins in 1936, when the British Egyptologist Walter Bryan Emery was excavating the tomb of Prince Sabu, the son of Pharaoh Anajib, a figure who lived around 3100 BC during Egypt's early dynastic period. After days of painstaking work, amidst the sand and rubble of a civilization buried for over 5 millennia, Emery happened upon a small chamber. Inside were the familiar items of the aristocracy: ceramic vessels, ivory ornaments, and copper tools. But lying among all those items was something that left him stunned. A strange stone disc, thin, smooth, and completely unlike anything ever found before in Egyptian history. That disc is known today as the Sabu Disc. It was carved from a single block of metasiltstone, a brittle and fragile rock with a fine crystalline structure. Though only a few centimeters thick, it maintains an incredibly perfect symmetry, with a diameter of about 61 cm. At its center is a perfect circular hole, surrounded by 3 thin, gracefully curved blades, which are slender, uniform, and so smoothly finished they seem to have been machined with high-speed rotating tools. At a glance, one might mistake it for a mechanical part, something like a turbine propeller, or even the rotor disc of a modern device. Yet, it was found in a tomb more than 5,000 years old. How could an ancient civilization like Egypt, where the wheel had not yet appeared, create a shape so sophisticated? Its craftsmanship is certainly exquisite, reflecting a high level of skill. Whoever created this disc was not just talented. They understood how to work with stone delicately, carving precise curves and maintaining perfect symmetry. With its unique appearance, the Sabu Disc quickly drew attention. And just as quickly, experts began to speculate about its purpose. Archaeologists, historians, and enthusiasts of ancient mysteries have debated it for nearly a century, proposing countless theories that range from well-grounded arguments to incredible, even fantastical speculations. Some suggest the Sabu Disc was merely a ritual object, symbolizing reincarnation or the cycle of the sun. But strangely, it has no hieroglyphs, no decorative patterns, and no religious symbols, which is very unusual for Egyptian ritual items. Others believe it was a functional engineering component, possibly an impeller or propeller used in an ancient hydraulic system, or even part of some rotating mechanism for grinding, filtering, or ventilation. When a 3D model of the disc was recreated using modern technology, researchers found that its aerodynamic shape could indeed have efficiently circulated liquid or air, much like a centrifugal rotor. If that is true, it would be the earliest rotating technology in human history, predating the Greek Antikythera mechanism by nearly 2 millennia. There are also more romantic theories that the disc represents a harmony between technology and spirituality. They suggest the ancient Egyptians may have created it as an energy conductor, symbolizing the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Some hypotheses go even further, suggesting it could be the remnant of an advanced prehistoric civilization, or even linked to extraterrestrial origins, a piece of lost technology left over from an era we have never known. Today, the Sabu Disc is displayed at the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, lying quietly in a glass case among thousands of other artifacts. There is no clear explanatory plaque, only a small label that reads, Meta-Siltstone Disc, Early Dynastic Period. Visitors often stop, gaze longer than usual, and silently wonder, how did ancient people make this? As of now, no one has a definitive answer. Its true purpose remains an enigma. And perhaps that is precisely what makes the Sabu Disc so captivating. A small object, yet powerful enough to shake our entire perception of human history. 2. The Sword of Goujian. Among the artifacts of China's spring and autumn period, there is one from ancient China that has fascinated historians and researchers since its discovery. It is the Sword of Goujian. The sword was discovered by chance in 1965 in a tomb near Jingzhou, Hubei province, within the ancient state of Chu. While many contemporary objects had decayed over time, this sword was in a nearly perfect state of preservation. Sealed in a wooden scabbard and carefully placed in the tomb chamber alongside bronze and jade artifacts. The sword is about 55 centimeters long. It is made of bronze, but remains extraordinarily sharp despite being buried underground for about 2,500 years. Tests have shown that its blade can easily cut through stacks of paper, a rare capability for bronze artifacts of a similar age. Its surface is almost completely untarnished, amazing researchers with the metallurgical skills of the ancients. Researchers carefully analyzed the sword's metal composition to understand how it resisted decay. The analysis revealed that the sword was crafted from a combination of pure copper, tin, and trace elements like lead, iron, and sulfur, creating a perfect balance of hardness, sharpness, and corrosion resistance. This is the reason why the sword has remained virtually unchanged after thousands of years underground. More than just a weapon, the sword of Goujian is also a work of exquisite art. Its surface is decorated with intricate geometric patterns, and near the hilt, 8 ancient Chinese characters are clearly inscribed. King of Yue, Goujian, made this sword for his personal use. These words not only authenticate its origin, but also directly link the sword to Goujian, the king famous for his story of enduring hardship and his spirit of perseverance. Experts believe the extraordinary preservation of the sword of Goujian was not just luck. The sealed wooden scabbard and the stable conditions within the tomb helped maintain its form, sharpness, and metallic luster for over 2 millennia. Today, the sword of Goujian is housed in the Hubei Provincial Museum, a living testament to the superior metallurgical techniques, artistic spirit, and deep historical value of ancient China. The sword is not just a weapon, for it is a direct bridge to a person and an era, reminding us that sometimes the past still holds mysteries that modern science cannot fully explain. 3. Puma Punku. Leaving the ancient craftsmanship of China, our journey takes us to the windswept highlands of Bolivia. Here lies one of South America's most perplexing archaeological sites, Puma Punku. This is no ordinary structure. Here, enormous stones, carved with incredible precision and a complex architectural style, have attracted countless historians, archaeologists, and mystery enthusiasts from around the world. Puma Punku is located near Lake Titicaca, within the Tiwanaku Archaeological Complex, at an altitude of about 3,950 meters above sea level. In the local Aymara language, the name Puma Punku means the door of the puma, suggesting a power and importance that this site may have once held. Modern attention first came to Puma Punku in the early 20th century, but the site immediately raised a host of unanswerable questions. Unlike typical pre-Columbian structures, Puma Punku stands out for its massive stone blocks, crafted from extremely hard andesite and sandstone, with weights ranging from a few tons to over 100 tons each. The problem is not just moving these colossal blocks to the construction site, but also shaping and fitting them with near perfect precision. One of the things that most astonishes researchers is the perfect precision of the stones. Many blocks have straight edges, perfect right angles, and intricately machined grooves and drill holes, comparable to modern mechanical engineering. Even contemporary engineers admit that achieving such accuracy with the copper tools and stone abrasives believed to be available at the time is almost impossible. Archaeologists believe that Puma Punku was built by the Tiwanaku civilization, which flourished from around 500 to 950 AD. However, no direct historical records survive to document the construction methods or technology they used. This has opened up a range of theories, from the practical to the mystical. Mainstream researchers suggest that the Tiwanaku people may have used copper and bronze tools combined with sand or other abrasives to cut, polish, and shape the stone. But more extraordinary theories suggest lost ancient technology or forgotten construction methods that we have never known, making Puma Punku an unsolved enigma. It is not just about the craftsmanship. The structure of Puma Punku also demonstrates a sophisticated modular design. The stone blocks fit together perfectly, almost without the need for mortar, like pieces of a giant stone puzzle. This has led to speculation that the site was not just an ordinary architectural structure, but may have served a special function, from religious rituals to astronomical or ancient mechanical applications. But to this day, its true function remains a mystery. The sudden collapse of the Tiwanaku civilization around the 10th century left Puma Punku in an unfinished state. With incomplete blocks and scattered building materials, a silent testament to a moment in history that was cut short, leaving archaeologists puzzled. Some recent studies have even found evidence of contact with strange metals or extremely fine stone polishing techniques, which would be difficult to replicate even with modern knowledge, further adding to the site's mystique. Today, standing amidst the giant stones of Puma Punku, one sees not only the extraordinary skill and intellect of the ancients, but also feels an unsolved mystery. With Puma Punku, which theory do you find more plausible? Was this the pinnacle of human engineering, or the trace of a more advanced civilization than we have ever known? Let us know your theory in the comments. 4. The Nebra Sky Disc. In the dense forests of Germany, a surprising discovery shook the archaeological world. A bronze disc with shimmering gold symbols depicting the night sky from over 3,600 years ago. This is the Nebra Sky Disc. In 1999, treasure hunters equipped with metal detectors were searching the Ziegelrode forest near the town of Nebra in the state of Saxony-Anhalt, when they stumbled upon a strange object. The bronze disc, about 32 centimeters in diameter, immediately caught their attention with its exquisite, shimmering gold symbols etched on its surface. Initially, the disc fell into the hands of the black market, but fortunately, authorities recovered it in 2002, paving the way for in-depth research. Before us, the Nebra Sky Disc is not just a piece of gold, plated bronze. Its surface contains a miniature universe, a crescent moon, a circle representing either the sun or a full moon, and a cluster of gold dots symbolizing the stars. 2 gold bands run along the disc's edge, possibly representing the horizon or special astronomical phenomena. What is astonishing is the precision of the details. Astronomers have noted that the pattern accurately reflects observations of the night sky in Central Europe around 3,600 years ago, with the Pleiades star cluster appearing precisely, suggesting the tracking of seasonal changes for planting and harvesting in ancient societies. This raises a mysterious question. Did the ancients possess astronomical knowledge far beyond our imagination? Some scholars suggest the disc may have been an early form of calendar, a navigational tool, or even a ceremonial centerpiece, where celestial events like solstices or equinoxes were observed and celebrated. The debate surrounding the Nebra Sky Disc is not limited to its use. Since its recovery, experts have thoroughly analyzed its age, authenticity, and metal composition. Metallurgical analysis confirmed that the bronze alloy and the source of the gold are consistent with Bronze Age mining and metalworking techniques in the region, strengthening the evidence that the disc is indeed an ancient product, not a forgery. Today, the Nebra Sky Disc is housed in the Halle State Museum of Prehistory, a symbol of the knowledge, skill, and sophistication of the Bronze Age. When you look at the golden stars on the disc, you see not only the night sky of millennia ago, but also feel the intellect and vision of a people who reached for the cosmos with their own hands. If you are also curious about the mysteries still hidden behind the Nebra Sky Disc, stay tuned, because the next section will lead us to one of the most enigmatic structures in the world, where human engineering and imagination surpassed all known standards. 5. The giant black sarcophagi of Saqqara. From the giant stones of Puma Punku and the golden stars on the Nebra sky disk, we return to the Egyptian desert, where another ancient mystery awaits to be unveiled. At Saqqara, near the step pyramid of Djoser, lies a network of harsh stone tunnels containing colossal black sarcophagi. This is the Serapeum, one of the strangest archaeological discoveries ever known to humanity. First discovered by the French archaeologist Auguste Mariette in 1850, the Serapeum opened up another world. 24 granite and basalt sarcophagi, each weighing from 60 to over 100 tons, with stone lids that could weigh up to 30 tons. What is astonishing is not just their enormous size, but also their near-perfect precision. The edges are straight, the surfaces are polished smooth, and the lids fit so perfectly that even a thin sheet of paper can hardly slip through. Even modern engineers with advanced equipment marvel at this craftsmanship. The Serapeum was believed to be the burial place of the sacred Apis bulls, who were considered the embodiment of the god Ptah. But when opened, many of the sarcophagi were empty. There were no remains, no inscriptions, and no funerary offerings. This emptiness has left researchers wondering, did they truly serve a religious ritual? Or were they a secret repository for important items that time has erased? How the sarcophagi were transported, positioned, and so exquisitely crafted is also an unsolved mystery. How did the ancient Egyptians move these massive stone blocks and arrange them with perfect precision without any modern machinery? The theories remain just theories. But it is this very mystery that makes the Serapeum so irresistibly fascinating. Imagine standing in the dark tunnels, the dim light reflecting off the polished black stone surfaces, and wondering, what drove the ancients to dedicate such effort to crafting these sarcophagi? If these mysteries ignite your curiosity, do not forget to follow mystery to not miss out on the next strange archaeological discoveries and artifacts. 6. The Voynich Manuscript. Stepping away from the monumental mysteries of ancient Egypt, we turn our attention to something much smaller, but no less perplexing. Imagine standing before an ancient book, the smell of old vellum and the soft rustle of pages under your hand. Before you is the Voynich Manuscript, carefully preserved in Yale University's Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library. This unique book, with its fascinating blend of a mysterious language and intricate illustrations, has resisted all attempts at decipherment for over a century, earning it the reputation as the world's most mysterious book. It is small in size, only about 23/16 centimeters with 240 vellum pages. But inside is a strange universe, where vivid illustrations, bizarre creatures, and enigmatic characters that scholars call Voyniches combine to create a story that no one has yet been able to decode. Since it came to public attention in 1912, the book has baffled linguists, cryptographers, mathematicians, and even artificial intelligence experts. Recent analyses suggest that Voyniches has the rhythm, structure, and word frequency of a natural language, yet it matches no known language on the planet. Some researchers believe the book contains encoded medical or astronomical knowledge, while others think it was a means of preserving the knowledge of a lost civilization or even an elaborate medieval hoax. This persistent mystery has given rise to much speculation. A common theory is that the manuscript is written in a deliberately encoded language. Another possibility is that the manuscript represents the remains of a lost language or a previously unrecorded dialect. In recent decades, a more skeptical view has emerged, suggesting that the Voynich manuscript might just be an elaborate hoax. In recent years, teams of linguists, cryptographers, and historians have applied advanced computational analysis to the text. Some studies have shown that Voynich has features similar to natural languages, with consistent word frequencies and recurring structures. However, despite these promising findings, a definitive translation or explanation continues to elude even the most sophisticated modern techniques. And here, we see not just a book, but an invitation, a challenge to human curiosity, a door opening into a world of lost knowledge, untold stories, and secrets that time has deliberately concealed. 7. Pre-dynastic Egyptian granite vases. Leaving the mysteries of medieval writing and texts, we return to ancient Egypt, where even small objects can shake our perception of prehistoric technical capabilities. Among them, the granite vases of the pre-dynastic period are a living testament to the extraordinary talent and meticulousness of Egyptian artisans over 5,000 years ago. Even before the famous pyramids appeared, these vases were carved from extremely hard stones like granite, diorite, and basalt, with perfect lines and walls only a few millimeters thick, something that seems impossible with the rudimentary tools of that era. Modern archaeologists and engineers have tried to replicate these vases with advanced tools and diamond drills, but still admit that the precision and delicacy of the ancients are beyond imagination. Theories about the crafting techniques are still much debated. It is possible that the artisans used fine sand, crushed quartz, and copper tools to slowly hollow out, polish, and shape the vessels. Each vase was not just a utilitarian object, but a challenge to time and skill, as if the ancients wanted to send a message about their patience, ingenuity, and craft secrets to future generations. As for their purpose, these vases usually appeared in the tombs of the elite, containing oils, perfumes, or other valuable items, symbolizing wealth, power, and deep religious belief. But the mystery is that, despite their small size, they leave a large question about their anachronistic level of technical skill, leading scholars to wonder, were these crafting secrets completely forgotten? Or do they still exist as hidden knowledge in secret traditions? Imagine holding such a vase in your hands today, feeling its cool, smooth surface, and wondering how many centuries, how many secrets have been buried in every millimeter of this stone. Each vase is a reminder that, from the very beginning of Egyptian civilization, humans knew how to perfectly combine art and technology, creating objects that seem simple but contain a timeless wisdom. 8. The Lindenberg heads. Before us are small but vivid ceramic sculptures, created by the hands of ancient southern African communities over a millennium ago. The Lindenberg heads are not just archaeological artifacts, they are windows into the past, where art, belief, and daily life intersected in ways that still puzzle researchers. This discovery began by chance in 1957, when a schoolboy happened upon ceramic fragments protruding from a hillside on his family's farm. From what seemed like ordinary shards, archaeologists pieced together and found 7 hollow terracotta heads, each bearing intricate facial details, from deep, set eyes to a faint, enigmatic smile, making them seem as if they are still telling a secret story of the past. The Lindenberg heads are not just artifacts. They bear the marks of the art, beliefs, and community life of over 1,400 years ago. The fine decorative patterns, the clay strips, the small punctures, and the geometric and linear designs make each head seem like a secret map, leading into the spiritual and ritual world of the ancients. Some are even incised with small animal figures, suggesting the relationship between humans and nature in ancient cultural concepts. The true purpose of these heads remains an enigma. They could be ritual masks, or portraits of ancestors, or even symbolic totems used in important ceremonies. Whatever the case, the feeling one gets from looking at them still makes one wonder about the story the ancients wanted to tell, about the lives, beliefs, and mysteries that time has covered. Today, the 7 Lydenburg heads are preserved at the Isiko South African Museum in Cape Town. But their beauty and mystery remain vibrant. And you, if you were to stand before them, could feel the gaze of the past, a bridge connecting today with more than a millennium ago. 9. The Roman dodecahedron. Imagine standing in a gallery, light slanting through the glass cases, and before you is a strange geometric object, a Roman dodecahedron gleaming under the lights. Each pentagonal face has a circular hole, and small, intricately decorated spherical knobs adorn the corners, creating an incredible perfection. You cannot help but wonder, what did the Romans use this for? These dodecahedrons, crafted from bronze or sometimes stone, have appeared scattered across the Roman Empire, with about 100 artifacts found since the first discovery in the 18th century. Their wide distribution, along with their consistent design, has puzzled archaeologists. No Roman texts mention these objects, even though the Romans were known for their meticulous record-keeping. Theories about their purpose are astonishing. Some suggest they were measuring devices, while others believe they served religious or divination rituals, or even as a calendar or astronomical device. More interestingly, a practical theory suggests the dodecahedron was used in the art of knitting. Modern replicas have shown that the Romans could have used them to knit gloves or socks, an innovation so creative it commands our admiration. What adds to the mystique is the lack of evidence on how the Romans made or used them, despite being found in various contexts, from wealthy villas to religious sites. The fine details on the dodecahedrons suggest extraordinary craftsmanship. But how many more mysteries lie dormant, waiting for us to decipher? Today, the Roman dodecahedrons are preserved and displayed in museums across Europe. Despite extensive scholarly research, these modest yet captivating objects continue to elude definitive explanation, symbolizing the gaps in historical knowledge that persist even for as well-documented a civilization as Rome. 10. The Ziusudra clay tablet and the Great Flood myth. Stepping away from the puzzling geometry of the Roman dodecahedron, our exploration now turns to one of the oldest known stories of human survival, a tale found inscribed on clay by the ancient Sumerians. This artifact, known as the Ziusudra clay tablet, offers a glimpse into the earliest recorded versions of a familiar story, a great flood that threatens to wipe out humanity and the one man chosen to survive. Ziusudra, the central figure of this ancient tale, is often compared to the biblical Noah. Both characters share striking similarities. However, Ziusudra predates the biblical story by several centuries, making the clay tablet crucial evidence that the flood myth was deeply embedded in ancient Mesopotamian culture. The story of Ziusudra first emerged from a broken clay tablet discovered during archaeological excavations at the Sumerian city of Nippur, located in modern-day Iraq. The tablet itself is modest in appearance, carefully inscribed with cuneiform script. Despite its incomplete state, scholars quickly recognize the significance of the Ziusudra text, which dates to around 1700 BC. The content of the surviving portions of the Ziusudra tablet describes a divine warning given to Ziusudra, a righteous and pious king, of an impending catastrophic flood sent by the gods. Following this divine instruction, Ziusudra built a massive boat. When the flood finally arrived, it devastated the earth. After a time, Ziusudra's boat eventually came to rest. Upon disembarking, he performed thanksgiving rituals as a reward for his obedience and piety. Ziusudra was granted eternal life. The Ziusudra story is significant as supporting evidence for the universality of flood myths, potentially reflecting a common ancient memory or storytelling tradition centered around real cataclysmic events, such as regional floods or natural disasters. Historically, Mesopotamia, the land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, was prone to devastating floods. While its narrative may have roots in real historical floods, scholars widely agree that the text primarily functions as a religious or moral allegory, emphasizing human fragility, divine authority, and the importance of obedience and piety. To this day, after thousands of years, the mystery has not been fully solved. Is the Great Flood in the clay tablet merely a metaphor? Or does it reflect a real natural disaster in ancient history? And if it was real, was it the same catastrophe that left its mark in the Bible, in Greek mythology, and in the memory of countless other civilizations? 11. The Tenka Goken, 5 heavenly swords. From the clay tablets inscribed with the Sumerian flood myth, our journey now turns to the east, to an island where myst and legend intertwine. Japan, the land of the sword and the spirit, where each steel blade was forged not just for combat, but to imprison the will and soul of the swordsmith. Among the countless famous swords in history, 5 blades are revered as the Tenka Goken, the 5 heavenly swords. They are not just weapons, but sacred symbols of power, loyalty, and destiny, celebrated for nearly 8 centuries. These blades were born during the Kamakura period, 1185–1333, the zenith of Japanese sword-making art. During that era, every hammer strike, every fold of steel, was a combination of technique, religion, and philosophy. The blades were not only tempered in fire, but also purified by Shinto rituals, as if they had their own souls. Dojigiri Yasutsuna, perhaps the most famous of the 5, associated with the legend of the warrior Minamoto no Yorimitsu, using it to slay the demon Shuten Doji. Its name means Doji Cutter. It is currently preserved at the Tokyo National Museum. Mikazuki Munachika. Its name Mikazuki means crescent moon, reflecting the graceful curve of its blade. It is considered one of the finest examples of traditional Japanese swordsmanship and is also housed at the Tokyo National Museum. Onimaru Kunitsuna. The demon sword has a particularly colorful story. According to legend, the sword earned its fearsome name after Hojo Tokimasa, an influential regent, used it to drive away evil spirits that were tormenting him at night. The current whereabouts of the Onimaru Kunitsuna are uncertain. Juzumaru Tsunetsugu, associated with the history of Nichiren, the influential Buddhist monk who founded Nichiren Buddhism. The name Juzumaru derives from the Buddhist prayer beads, symbolizing protection and spiritual purity. The sword is now preserved at the Honkoji Temple. Odenta Mitsuyo. perhaps the most elusive of the 5 heavenly swords. Records mention the Odenta Mitsuyo being passed down through important families, but its exact current location remains unclear, shrouded in mystery. The process of crafting these blades demonstrates the advanced metallurgy and careful craftsmanship of Japanese swordsmiths. They were not merely weapons. They represent artistic masterpieces, cultural symbols, and powerful status symbols. 12. The Nok culture. Our journey now crosses oceans and deserts, venturing into the heart of Africa, where ancient mysteries still lie dormant beneath the red soil of Nigeria. There, thousands of years ago, a civilization flourished and then vanished without leaving a single written word. Only terracotta faces that stared directly at us with a silent yet haunting gaze. The Nok culture. The Nok culture is considered one of the earliest societies in sub-Saharan Africa, developing from around 1500 BC to 500 AD. The world knows of them not through inscriptions, but through exquisite terracotta sculptures, a testament to an artistic skill and symbolic thinking far ahead of their time. The story began in 1928, when tin miners near the village of Nok accidentally unearthed a terracotta human head with almond-shaped eyes and intricately styled hair. That discovery opened a treasure trove of archaeology, leading to hundreds of other statues being found scattered across central Nigeria. Each statue seems to tell a story. Some have the regal air of a leader, while others express suffering, fear, or contemplation, allowing the viewer to sense a rich spiritual world hidden behind the rough terracotta. What puzzles archaeologists is the strange combination of refined art and advanced metallurgical technology. Beneath the soil where the statues were found, traces of ancient iron forges were discovered, proving that the Nok were one of the first cultures in Africa to smelt iron. A technical milestone often associated with the transition to more complex societies. But why, in a civilization that knew fire, iron, and art, did everything suddenly disappear around the 5th century AD? This remains an unanswered question. Some scholars suggest the Nok statues served a religious or ritual function, possibly representing ancestral spirits or protective deities. Others see in them traces of a power structure or mythological stories told in 3-dimensional form. For many, those clay faces look as if they are guarding a secret that is not yet meant to be revealed. Today, Nok artifacts are displayed in museums around the world, but the mysteries surrounding them have yet to be solved. No one knows why they disappeared or which civilization succeeded them. Those statues, though silent for millennia, seem to be whispering to modern humans. How many other civilizations, like the Nok, once shone brightly, only to be quietly buried by the dust of time? 13. The Antikythera mechanism. Amidst the clear blue waters and the shattered remains of a Roman shipwreck, sponge divers stumbled upon an unusual object, a metal mass covered in green algae, thought to be just the remnant of an anonymous antique. But inside that layer of bronze rust was hidden a mechanism that would astonish the modern world. This is the Antikythera mechanism, incredible proof of the mechanical skill and astronomical thinking of people over 2,000 years ago. In the spring of 1900, the shipwreck near the island of Antikythera was being excavated. Among the bronze statues, ceramic vases, and the ruins of a royal treasure, a seemingly worthless object was found. It was not until archaeologists noticed that inside it were gears, axles, and ancient Greek inscriptions that everything changed. That rusty bronze block turned out to be a precisely structured mechanical device, built not for display or offering, but for calculation. With over 30 intricately meshing bronze gears, the Antikythera mechanism is considered the world's first analog computer. When operated, it could simulate the movements of the sun, moon, and the known planets of the time, predict solar and lunar eclipses, and even determine the timing of the ancient Olympic Games. Every dial, every symbol inscribed on the bronze, contained a precision that astonishes even modern engineers. X-ray CT scans have revealed its internal structure, a mechanical labyrinth almost unthinkable for the technology of the 2nd century BC. Not only that, but the device was also capable of correcting for the orbital irregularities of the moon, a feature that Europe would not replicate for another 2,500 years with the astronomical clocks of the Renaissance. And that is what creates the question that has baffled scholars for over a century. Who built this machine, and with what knowledge? Some theories suggest it was created by a student of Archimedes or a mysterious scientific center on the island of Rhodes, where Greek astronomers and craftsmen once gathered. Others believe the Antikythera mechanism is just one part of a series of lost devices, indicating that ancient science once reached a level that modern history has yet to recognize. Today, the Antikythera mechanism is carefully preserved in Athens at the National Archaeological Museum. It remains a highlight of their extensive collection, and scholars and historians continue to study this artifact. 14. The Phaistos Disc. Turning our attention from the intricate gears and celestial mysteries of ancient Greece's Antikythera mechanism, we now journey to the island of Crete. Here, amidst the ruins of a Minoan palace, archaeologists uncovered one of the most enigmatic artifacts ever discovered: the Phaistos Disc. This peculiar clay artifact has fascinated scholars, linguists, and history enthusiasts for over a century, largely because it bears an inscription in a script that remains undeciphered to this day. The discovery of the Phaistos Disc occurred in 1908 during excavations at the ancient palace complex near the town of Phaistos in southern Crete. The Phaistos Disc itself is relatively modest in size, with a diameter of about 16 centimeters. Made of fired clay, it is carefully and symmetrically crafted. However, what immediately caught attention was the captivating spiral of script that covers both sides of the disc, stamped into the clay with individual, reusable characters. The inscriptions form a unique spiral pattern, winding inward from the outer edge toward the center. This script contains 241 individual symbols, comprising 45 distinct hieroglyphic characters arranged in sequences separated by short vertical lines. The characters depict a diverse range of objects, including human figures, animals, plants, and various abstract shapes. Efforts to decipher the Phaistos Disc have captivated linguists and historians for decades. However, the artifact has stubbornly resisted interpretation. A challenge to its decipherment lies in the artifact's uniqueness. No similar script or language has been found elsewhere in Crete or across the wider Mediterranean region. Many compelling theories about the artifact's purpose have emerged. A popular hypothesis is that the disc served a religious or ritual function, possibly containing hymns, prayers, or religious chants. Another possibility is that the disc functioned as a historical or administrative document. A third, somewhat unconventional theory suggests that the disc may have served a recreational or gaming function. Currently, The Phaistos Disc is preserved and displayed in the Heraklion Archaeological Museum in Crete. Archaeologists remain hopeful that future discoveries in Crete or neighboring regions might one day provide crucial clues about the origin, purpose, and meaning of this artifact. 15. The Lycurgus Cup. From the undeciphered mysteries of the Phaistos Disc, we now turn our attention to a Roman artifact that has baffled historians and scientists alike. The Lycurgus Cup. Crafted in ancient Rome around the 4th century AD, this cup stands out among ancient glassware for one striking and perplexing feature. It dramatically changes color under different lighting conditions. The Lycurgus cup was first recorded in the collections of the 19th century French nobleman Lionel de Rothschild. Today, it is safely housed in the British Museum, captivating visitors with its otherworldly beauty and mysterious craftsmanship. At first glance, the cup is an elegantly crafted Roman drinking vessel. But what truly fascinates scholars and museum goers is the vessel's remarkable optical phenomenon. In ordinary ambient light, the Lycurgus cup appears jade green. However, when illuminated from behind or within, the cup undergoes a dramatic color shift to a vibrant, deep red. This dichroic phenomenon, according to modern science, is the result of gold and silver nanoparticles, just a few dozen nanometers in size, being embedded in the glass, a technique that humans were not able to replicate until the 20th century. So how did Roman artisans, without microscopes or quantum science, create such a sophisticated optical effect? That question, to this day, remains unanswered. The cup's imagery, depicting the punishment of Lycurgus, may also offer insights into its cultural significance. Dionysus, the god whom Lycurgus challenged, is associated with wine and revelry. Thus, it seems fitting that a cup that shifts from a green to a wine-red color would have symbolic resonance in a culture so strongly associated with wine consumption. The Lycurgus cup remains a unique testament to Roman craftsmanship, highlighting a level of scientific understanding previously underestimated by modern historians. It represents a remarkable example of Roman glassmaking artistry and scientific achievement. And if you think this is just the beginning of the unexplainable, stay with us, because the next artifacts will silence history for even longer. 16. The Piri Race Map. In the quiet archives of the Topkapi Palace, a dusty parchment of gazelle skin shook the academic world. When scholars unrolled it, they realized this was not just a map, but a puzzle of time. Drawn in 1513 on a fragile gazelle skin parchment, the work of Admiral Ahmed Muhyiddin Piri, also known as Piri Race, details the Atlantic coastlines from Western Europe and West Africa to the Caribbean and South America with a precision that amazes even modern geographers. What is strange is that this map was only discovered by chance in 1929, when researchers were re-examining the deep archives of the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul. As the dust of time was brushed away, the coastlines and intricate symbols emerged, revealing something incredible. The map accurately depicted areas that had not yet been explored by Europeans at that time. According to Piri Reis's own words, he compiled this map based on many ancient sources, including Arabic, Portuguese, and even materials believed to date back to the time of Alexander the Great. This very fact opened one of the greatest debates in modern archaeological history. Because in the southernmost part of the map, a large landmass appears with a coastline that astonishingly matches Antarctica beneath its ice sheet. even though the frozen continent was not discovered until 1820. How could a 16th century scholar know the true shape of a continent buried under kilometers of ice and snow? Many researchers have sought plausible explanations, suggesting the southern landmass might represent a distorted or speculative rendering of the South American coastline. However, even if this landmass represents a misinterpretation, the accuracy of other geographical features remains impressive, fueling ongoing curiosity about the map's original sources. Today, the surviving fragment of the Piri Reis map is carefully preserved in the Topkapi Palace Museum in Istanbul. It provides a valuable window into a historical period characterized by bold exploration, cross-cultural exchange, and the emergence of our modern understanding of global geography. Is this just a coincidence, or is it a remnant of a prehistoric knowledge that history has erased? The answer, to this day, remains an enigma. 17. The stone spheres of Costa Rica. The 20th century ushered in the age of airplanes, telephones, and space exploration. Yet, in that very era, objects that seemed to come from another world were found in the jungles of Costa Rica. Hundreds of perfect stone spheres, weighing up to tens of tons, carved thousands of years ago, and no one understands how. The discovery of these spheres dates back to the 1930s, when agricultural workers of the United Fruit Company were clearing areas of dense jungle in the Diqui Delta for banana plantations. The workers stumbled upon large, seemingly man-made stone objects. The Costa Rican spheres are primarily composed of granodiorite, a hard volcanic rock known to be difficult to shape. Their sizes vary significantly, from a few centimeters in diameter to over 2 meters, with weights of up to 15 tons. Despite their colossal proportions, these spheres exhibit extraordinary craftsmanship. Their surfaces are smooth and uniformly round, with near-perfect symmetry. The earliest creation of these spheres is attributed to the indigenous Diqui culture, which flourished in the region from about 700 to 1530 AD. However, beyond these general historical details, much about their daily life, traditions, and especially the reason they created these spheres remains a mystery. A prominent theory suggests the spheres may have served as territorial markers or status symbols. Another theory links the spheres to astronomical or calendrical functions. Other historians believe these stone spheres had a ritual or religious significance. However, the biggest puzzle surrounding these spheres remains the methods used to craft and transport them. Carving and shaping granodiorite into nearly perfect spheres would have required considerable skill, labor, and patience. Moving stones weighing many tons through dense tropical terrain would have required sophisticated logistical planning, manpower, and organization. In 2014, UNESCO officially recognized several of the archaeological sites with these spheres as a World Heritage Site. Despite modern research methods, the exact original purpose of the stone spheres of Costa Rica remains uncertain. 18. The Codex Gigas, the Devil's Bible. From the mysterious stone spheres of Costa Rica, we now turn our attention to medieval Europe, a world filled with monasteries, illuminated manuscripts, and vibrant religious beliefs. Among the countless medieval texts that have survived to modern times, one stands out for its extraordinary size, unusual legend, and fascinating historical significance. The Codex Gigas, often called the Devil's Bible. The Codex Gigas, whose name simply translates to giant book, is the largest surviving medieval manuscript in the world. It was created in the early 13th century, around 1229 AD, most likely at a Benedictine monastery in what is now the Czech Republic. Physically, the Codex Gigas is impressive. Standing about 92 centimeters tall, 50 centimeters wide, and roughly 22 centimeters thick. It weighs approximately 75 kg. The book contains a range of religious and secular texts, including the entire Latin translation of the Christian Bible, historical chronicles, medical treatises, magical formulas, a calendar, and encyclopedic collections of knowledge. However, the Codex Gigas earned its nickname, the Devil's Bible, primarily due to a striking full-page illustration found near its center, a dramatic and vivid depiction of the devil himself. This unusual illustration, about 50 centimeters tall, portrays a monstrous figure crouching with cloven feet, sharp talons, green skin, and a fierce, unsettling expression. According to popular medieval legends, the Codex Gigas was written in a single night by a desperate Benedictine monk. This monk, condemned to death for grave sins, promised his superiors that he would create the greatest book ever written in just one night as penance. As midnight approached and completion seemed impossible, the legend says the monk invoked the devil himself to help finish the manuscript. In gratitude, the monk included a portrait of the devil within. Historians generally interpret this legend more as an allegory than as historical fact. Historical analysis of the manuscript's textual content suggests a comprehensive synthesis of medieval knowledge. Regarding its creation, scholarly studies indicate that the Codex Gigas was likely the result of many years or even decades of work by a single scribe. Today, the Codex Gigas is preserved at the National Library of Sweden in Stockholm, where it remains one of the library's most prized artifacts. 19. Tutankhamun's meteoric iron dagger. As the magnificent tombs of the pharaohs lay at rest, a discovery shook the modern archaeological world. The tomb of Tutankhamun, the young pharaoh who reigned for only a short time but left a profound mark. Among the countless glittering treasures found here, one particular object has captured the attention of modern scientists. A dagger exquisitely crafted from meteoric iron from outer space. This tomb was excavated by the British archaeologist Howard Carter in 1922, revealing an unprecedented treasure trove of jewelry, vases, thrones, and ritual items. Amidst this dazzling collection, Carter found a small but special dagger placed carefully beside the mummy of Tutankhamun. At the time, the true value of its blade was not fully understood. It was only when modern scientists applied advanced material analysis that the mystery began to unfold. The blade was not made from iron mined on Earth, but from meteoric iron, containing high levels of nickel and cobalt, a characteristic feature found only in meteorite fragments. This discovery raised a series of fascinating questions about metallurgical techniques, trade networks, and symbolic meaning in ancient Egypt. During the reign of Tutankhamun, around 1336 to 1327 BC, iron was an extremely rare resource, rarer than gold or silver, because the Egyptians had not yet developed the technology to smelt iron. Therefore, any iron metal had to be sourced from fallen meteorites, which were considered metal from the heavens, carrying deep sacred and religious symbolism. This dagger was not just a weapon or a decorative object. It reflects sophisticated forging craftsmanship, showing that the ancient Egyptians knew how to work hard iron using special forging and heating methods, far exceeding previous assessments of their technological level. The exact origin of the meteoric iron is still an enigma, but theories suggest these meteorite fragments may have been collected from the desert or imported through the vast trade networks of the Middle East. Today, Tutankhamun's dagger is carefully preserved in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, continuing to be a vivid symbol of the fusion of art, science, and belief in ancient Egypt, astonishing anyone who stands before it with the intellect and faith of a people from over 3 millennia ago. 20. The Shroud of Turin. From the metallic gleam of Tutankhamun's meteoric dagger, our gaze now turns to an artifact that does not shine but holds a mystery of millennia. The Shroud of Turin, a thin cloth that has made anyone who touches history marvel and wonder. The Shroud of Turin is a linen cloth about 4.4 meters long and 1.1 meters wide, bearing the faint imprint of a human figure. Believers assert that this image represents Jesus Christ himself, capturing the moment after his crucifixion. Indeed, the cloth clearly depicts a human figure with visible marks resembling wounds from nails, thorns, and scourging, all consistent with the accounts of the crucifixion described in the New Testament. Historical records of the shroud's origin first appear in the mid-14th century, with documents indicating its presence in Lille, France. The image on the shroud itself has fascinated observers since its first public exhibitions. Initially difficult to see clearly, it became remarkably sharper in 1898 when Italian photographer Secondo Pia took the first photograph of the shroud. To Pia's astonishment, the photographic negatives revealed a detailed, astonishingly realistic human figure. One of the most significant scientific studies occurred in 1988 when scientists conducted radiocarbon dating tests on small fabric samples from the shroud. These tests indicated that the cloth dated from the 13th or 14th century AD, closely matching the earliest recorded historical records of its existence. Critics of the shroud's authenticity argue that this dating conclusively identified the shroud as a medieval artifact rather than an authentic relic from the time of Christ. However, supporters of its authenticity contend that the tested samples were from sections that were repaired in the medieval period, potentially skewing the test results. Beyond the dating controversy, scientific interest has also focused on the method used to create the image. The shroud's depiction is particularly subtle, consisting mainly of variations in the cloth's color rather than applied pigments or paint. Thorough examinations using modern techniques have not identified clear evidence of known artistic methods. Today, the Shroud of Turin is securely housed in the Cathedral of Turin. Public exhibitions remain rare, typically occurring only during special religious events or decades apart, further heightening public interest and attendance when the cloth is displayed. Today's journey has shown us that the past is not at rest. It whispers through stone tablets, metal fragments, and old parchment scrolls. Each mystery revealed brings not an answer, but new, deeper, and stranger questions, making us question everything we thought we knew. Are we walking on the traces of civilizations far greater than our own imagination? Are Atlantis, the gods from the stars, or ancient legends just myths? Or are they fragments of a memory distorted by time, concealing a truth that humanity has forgotten? The search is not over. Beneath the desert sands, deep in the ocean, or in forgotten archives, countless pieces are still waiting to be discovered, to one day complete the full picture of the past. Mystery will continue to be here, guiding you into the unanswered questions. If you crave the truth, join our community, Subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss any discoveries. And you? Do you think that among the 20 artifacts today, which holds the key to rewriting history? Share your opinion, because the past is always waiting for those who dare to ask and dare to believe. See you on the next journey, where the mystery never stops breathing.